each. Mic check 1 2, what it do? Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ. Thanks for tapping in. Today we're talking about Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. But before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So, Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, the heavyweight fight that everybody has been wanting to see, is very close. People from both sides have mentioned January. On this past weekend, Anthony Joshua headlined the card that also featured the trainer of Deontay Wilder in the undercard fight with Gerald Washington. So I got to see interviews with Derek James talking about preparations for the potential Deontay Wilder fight. Now, he has long said he doesn't really focus on fighters that aren't on the schedule, meaning if there's not a fight schedule, he doesn't spend a lot of time thinking or talking about that particular fight. He did that with Terrence Crawford for the most part. He's done that with Jermell Charlo's previous opponents, and now he's kind of doing it with Anthony Joshua. But that being said, he did acknowledge that if that's what AJ wants to do, that's what they're going to do. Most of you know Derek James is one of my I really like him as a trainer. I think he's very good at getting his fighters ready. Regardless of the previous outcome of the Spence Crawford fight, I do believe that he's a good trainer. In fact, he even won Trainer of the Year in 2022 from several media outlets. Flip over and you've got Malik King Scott, and he is the trainer for Deontay Wilder, and he's a former opponent, former sparring opponent, and now his trainer, and he's been with him since, I believe, the third Fury fight. Yes, the third Fury fight. So we've seen him in two fights. One of them was it was a rough fight against Tyson Fury, and that's mostly because his skills just far exceed what Deontay Wilder brings to the ring from a technical standpoint. So when you have the boxer puncher versus the big puncher, if the boxer puncher can survive the onslaught of punches, he's probably going to win the fight, and that's what you saw two times in Fury Wilder. In that third fight, though, you did see initially Deontay Wilder try to put some skills together, and he was fairly competitive until he gassed out. He bulked up in weight, and I think that it really impacted him. And he's also someone who's not known for doing road work, which is really big on building that stamina and leg strength for when you get deeper into fights, into the AKA championship rounds. But I think from a skill standpoint, you saw some new wrinkles that will make him more competitive against boxer punchers not named Tyson Fury. In fact, the only two losses on his record are to one person. The lone blemish on his record, the draw, besides the losses, are also to that person. So everybody else, he's had their number except Tyson Fury. So when you fast forward to an AJ fight, you have to think, what skills does AJ possess at this point in his career to make this competitive? Because I don't know that if Deontay Wilder taps that chin, how AJ is going to respond at this point. He's trying to become more technical from what I can see. He's not as cavalier with his punches. The fact that he got a knockout against Robert Helenius in the 7th round, he kind of just went for the gusto. He kind of just, he channeled the old version of himself and got that knockout, because up to that point he had been tentative and gun shy, and I think that that doesn't serve AJ well in the fight against Wilder. I liken it to when you look at think about like Pop Warner football, if you're familiar with it, like youth sports. Let's take that as an example. Youth sports, even in basketball, you've got that team that's they're pretty athletic and talented, but not super great. Like they're not technically sound, but they're talented. And but they're aggressive, like they're going for it. And then you've got this other team that's more, they're kind of closer to fundamental. They kind of just do things by the book, but they don't really have a lot of tenacity to them. Sometimes that more talented team will beat them simply because that team was just the aggressor. And I think that something like that could play out in this fight, because while I think that Anthony Joshua was a better boxer, I do believe that Deontay Wilder, being a big puncher, and he's aggressive with it, he's got a serious level of dog in him that has been questioned in Anthony Joshua. That will make this fight play out in a way that I don't think is favorable for AJ. And unfortunately, we're probably going to witness a one-sided beating once he taps that chin. Now, early on, I think you might see something fairly competitive, and let's put this caveat out there. I've been wrong already in thinking that a fight was 50-50 that turned out to be one-sided this year. But I think this is closer because early on, Deontay's going to try to box too, I believe. Unless he sees that look in AJ's eyes when they meet in the middle of the ring and he say, oh, I'm about to beat your ass, then it's going to be on and popping. He may see some of that Stavern action from Wilder. But if he sees a ready, focused, and confident Anthony Joshua, he may be a little bit tentative because just as much as Wilder's a big puncher, AJ has concussive power too. And he could catch him slipping and make this a one-sided fight the other way because he's got boxing skills and punching power. Now, the heart of Deontay Wilder is the one wild card to me that really tips the scales in his favor because I think he's a guy who's really willing to go out on his shield where AJ is afraid of the embarrassment of losing again. So you have to kind of play all these factors in, but overall, this looks like it could be that fight that we've all been waiting for. Obviously, they missed peak season for this fight. They both have lost their O's. They've had kind of ugly losses. You know, like AJ, to me, his first loss to Usyk was very one-sided. Usyk just beat him around the ring and weathered the storm and got the best of him. Deontay Wilder took some pretty severe beatings from Tyson Fury. So these guys, we've seen that luster. We've seen the chink in the armors. We've seen the luster fall off and the chinks in the armor show up. So to me, it's just it's still one because we've waited so long. We're ready to cash in that lottery ticket and see this big fight. So I'm pretty excited if it's going to happen in January. Like I said, news is coming out of both camps that they're looking at January. They want to see this thing get down. So I know Malik Scott says he putting him to sleep. He said Wilder gonna knock him out in spectacular fashion, and Derek James said that AJ will be ready. So more to come on this one as well. So this has been T for the Mic Check Podcast. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Until the next time, I'm out.